We are facing the most serious constitutional crisis that this country has faced since the Civil War. And what is happening is a conscious plan by the most powerful forces in the governmental structure, in the industrial structure, to experiment with the undermining and abandonment of the most elementary constitutional rights of all of the people set forth in the Constitution. Suspending the Constitution of the United States, suspending the Congress and replacing it with a military government, suspending local and state legislatures, suspending the courts and replacing them with military tribunals, and establishing detention camps throughout the country in which any person who didn't agree with this proclamation would be thrown in. What the American people must never forget is that when fascism comes to America, it will come wrapped in an American flag.
Arthur Kinoy is one of America's greatest fighters for civil liberties. We all owe a great deal to him, and he's going to be with us right now on Alternative Views. Attacks upon American civil liberties occur regularly in the United States, and the situation is getting worse. What is happening and why are the focuses of our program with Arthur Kinoy. But before we interview Arthur, here are a couple of news stories from the alternative press.
On Sunday, April the 29th, the New York Times Magazine had a story by Seymour Hersh, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, called "The Iran-Contra Committees. Did They Protect Reagan?" According to Hersh, the congressional investigations in the Iran-Contra hearings failed to investigate certain key elements of the scandal. Hersh thus analyzes the limits of the Iran-Contra hearings, what they were afraid to analyze. Hersh said that the congressional committees decided from the beginning not to seek evidence that would lead to impeachment hearings, and thus protected Reagan throughout. Hersh's investigations, for instance, reveal that one of Oliver North's associates, James Radzinski, saw 2 memos that listed the details of the illegal diversion of funds from the Iran arms sales to the Contras. Radzinski was scheduled to testify at the hearings after Oliver North, but North's popularity was so great that the Iran-Contra committees decided to cancel Radzinski's presentation. He had seen the memo, 2 memos that had listed exactly what was going from the Iran arms sales to the Contras, that was sent to Poindexter, that had Poindexter's initials, and that was sent up to Reagan for his inspection and for his initialing. It was precisely this missing gun, this smoking gun, that was the subject of the search of the committees, and that they never discovered, and therefore they decided that Reagan was innocent. Well, someone saw the incriminating memos, but because Oliver North was so popular, they were afraid to put this guy on afterwards who would contradict North's testimony that Reagan didn't really know anything about the diversions, and thus would save Reagan from impeachment. Hersh also revealed in his investigations that the White House had a full backup system to all of its computers, which would have allowed retrieval of all documents pertaining to the case, such as the one that Radzimski claims to have seen. The White House, however, refused to put this retrieval system into operation and to provide the committee with its documents on quote-unquote national security grounds. Hersh also revealed that discussion of this computer system led to the revelation that Reagan regularly taped his phone calls with foreign leaders. But this material also was not demanded by the investigating committees. In other words, the investigating committees did not demand the most crucial documents that were in the White House computers that might have implicated Reagan, Bush, Casey, and any number of other White House honchos in a full range of Iran-Contra scandals. But they did not allow the committees to have access to their retrieval system of their computer, and the committees just went along with this and thus never really investigated the salient documents pertaining to the tapes. Plus, discovering that Reagan had a recording system revealed the possibility there might be tapes like the Watergate tapes. You remember that during the Watergate hearings it was revealed that Richard Nixon taped all of his conversations in the White House office. These tapes were subpoenaed after a big struggle. Eventually the committee got the tapes, and this led to Nixon's impeachment or his resignation. And they could have done the same thing with Reagan, but they refused to go after these tapes. So Hersh shows the extent to which these congressional hearings basically were protecting Reagan from impeachment. And he interviewed all kinds of people on these hearings who said, yes, we definitely did not want to impeach Reagan. It was late in his term. He was too old. He was too senile. He wouldn't have known what was going on. It would have been a national embarrassment. There was a lot of national security issues involved.